Hi everyone, welcome back to MMA UK. I'm Jared Miller and I'm joined today by Cage Warriors fighter and top British prospect, Nathan Fletcher. Nathan, how are you, mate?
Very good, thanks, mate. How are you?
Yeah, good to speak to you today. And now one of the
Thanks.
main reasons I was so interested in talking to you is that you're part of Next Generation MMA. For those that don't know, this is a gym in Liverpool and it's one of the most talented, promising gyms in the country. I was interested, what's life and training like for you on a day-to-day basis there?
Yeah, well, obviously, I think, the secret's out now. We are by far the best gym in the UK, and I would say even in Europe. Our fighters are on a world stage now. Obviously, we've got Paddy co-main eventing the UFC, the last pay-per-view of the year. So obviously, that's a massive spot to be in, and he's going and doing it. So I think we're finally getting the sort of credit that we deserve, and yeah, long may it continue. I think that the gym's full of high level guys coming through. Paddy and Molly are just the start of it. So there's going to be plenty more UFC prospects, UFC champions coming through our gym in the next sort of 10, 15, even 20 years now with the kids that are starting.
I'm expecting a certain answer to this question, but how highly do you rate the coaching at the gym? And do you think the level kind of goes a bit under the radar in terms of the UK scene?
I think now it's not. I think we're getting the credit we deserve because you see the results on the Cage Warriors shows. Pretty much every Cage Warriors this year, there's been a next gen fighter on it, and they've been winning. So I rate our coaching staff very highly. Paul Ellis, Adam Ventry. I think we've got one of the best coaching teams in the world. And I think I've been elsewhere. I've been to America. I've been to other gyms, and we're right up there. Do you know what I mean? I saw no difference when I've been trained in Alpha Male. Back when I was 20, and like I remember coming home and thinking, wow, like our level really is that high. Like that Alpha Male is one of the top camps in the world. It has been for a while, and I remember just coming back to our gym and thinking we're just as good, if not better, than all those guys. So yeah, I think we're right up there.
Yeah. Now you're fighting at Cage Warriors 148 on New Year's Eve, taking on Alessandro Giordano. How are your preparations going for that fight?
Mate, perfect. I honestly, this fight camp has been about a year long for me because with everything that's come up, like all the missed opportunities, all the missed fights, I've been in the gym non-stop for the past 365 days. Literally, like I've never felt more ready or more prepared to go and take somebody's head off. Like it's going to be an absolute demolition job when I get in there on New Year's Eve. So, in terms of preparation, this is by far the best I've ever felt.
Yeah, and as you just mentioned, through no fault of your own, you've had a year right out of the octagon due to opponents cancelling and whatnot. How has the last 12 months been for you on a personal level? Has it been really frustrating?
It's been tough, I'm not going to lie, but I think looking back on it now, I wouldn't say it was necessary, but I'm actually glad that it's happened. Do you know what I mean? I feel like it's matured me so much as a person, as a fighter as well. But even outside of the gym, I feel like in life I've matured a lot more this year. It's made me come to terms with how badly I want to achieve success in MMA because to have so many close opportunities and then I miss them. And bearing in mind, all of this is off the back of my first pro loss. So you can imagine this is an extremely frustrating time for me. I want to get back in there and right the wrong. And I've not had the chance to do that yet. So it's been a really difficult year, but I think all those difficulties have sort of galvanized me into a more prepared athlete, a more prepared man. And I'm going to go in there on New Year's Eve and just show a completely new level, show the new Nathan Fletcher, and just pick up where I left off at the end of 2021.
Yeah, perfect. And looking at all of that, how do you see Giordano as an opponent?
Yeah, I mean, he's got a good record. He's got the same record as me. I don't think he's fought the same caliber of opponent that I've fought. If you look at, the guys he's beat, they've kind of got a mixed record. A lot of them don't have a lot of wins. And then the guy he got beat by is pretty good. I think he's 8-0 now. So, but yeah, he's just another body. I don't think he's anywhere near my level. I think I'm going to go in and completely outclass him in all areas of the fight. So, yeah, that's what I'm expecting. I'm expecting to go in and dominate.
Yeah. Well, you're seen as a submission specialist. 5 of your 6 wins have come in that fashion. But on the other hand, Giordano has never been finished. Does that motivate you even further to kind of make him suffer his first ever early stoppage?
I don't really look into that, to be honest. I didn't know that he hadn't been finished. So it was a decision that he lost. Yeah, I mean, I go in there and finish everyone anyway. You look at all my, I've got 5 submissions, but I've got 6 finishes. Do you know what I mean? So every fight I'm going in to stop my opponent. I'm not thinking about point scoring or winning a decision. The way I see it is I want to be world level. I want to be UFC world champion. So at this European level, I should be stopping guys. Do you know what I mean? And I expect to go in and stop him, definitely.
Yeah. And as you've mentioned, although it was over a year ago now, you are coming into this fight off the back of a loss to Dominic Wooden. How did that performance shape you as a fighter today? And has your training been tweaked at all because of that result?
Yeah, I mean, it's really cliche in it, but like you do learn a lot more from a loss than you do from a win. And I think that I was riding a lot of momentum coming into that title fight. I was maybe getting a little bit burnt out towards the end of the year, but pushing through because it was a big opportunity. And I needed to learn those lessons. It's just a shame that it had to come, in the form of a loss. But ultimately, I've springboarded myself forward, and I think I'm just such a better fighter now than what I was before that fight. I think I'm going to show that on New Year's Eve. A big thing I've taken away from that is composure. Like obviously, I was 23 years old fighting for the Cage Warriors world title. I mean, you're talking 2 years as a pro. I was sat in the crowd at Cage Warriors shows 3 years before that as an amateur, thinking, oh, one day I'll be fighting on Cage Warriors, and then you fast forward hardly any time, and I'm fighting main event for the title. Do you know what I mean? So I think maybe it did come a little bit too fast for me, and it's a shame I had to learn that way. But I feel like you can't get those lessons without facing adversity. So, like I said, I'm a completely different fighter now to what I was then. And I'm really excited to showcase my improvements this time out.
Yeah. Well, looking back at previous fights, you have actually beaten an Italian before in Michele Martignoni. He proved to be a very tough fight. He was unbeaten until he faced you. He's since gone and beat Dominic Wooden. Do you think that was the most important win of your career to date? Impressive.
Well, at the time it was, yeah, and now I think it is as well. I thought when I fought Brian Boolan to beat him, that was a big one for me because he was such a veteran and like he was really highly touted on the European scene. But then, yeah, you fast forward a year and now Martignoni's the champ. So I feel like that win probably would be slightly more up the rankings now, just because of what he's gone on and done since I beat him.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it. I've already got a win over one Italian. I know you can't do MMA math, but I think Martignoni was a much higher caliber opponent than Alessandro.
Yeah.
And I finished him. So I think you're going to see something similar, maybe a little bit earlier on this time out.
Cool. And now looking back to next generation MMA, from what I've seen of all the videos online, there's obviously a massive togetherness within the squad. There's a real family vibe to the place. Obviously, when somebody comes into the gym off the back of a win, I'm guessing everybody's ecstatic for them. Everybody's happy. But what I'm interested in is what happens when somebody comes in off the back of a loss. For example, Molly in her last fight. How does the gym do that? Deal with that as a whole?
To be honest, win or lose, there's no real difference. You know what I mean? We're all there for each other. If you want to come in and us to all celebrate with you, that's exactly what we'll do. If you want to come in and have a shoulder to cry on or just have your mates to pick you back up, that's exactly what we'll do. We are literally like a family, and regardless of results, we're there for each other every day in the trenches, in fight camps, after fights. Whatever the mood, we'll always pick each other up or be buzzing for each other when we get a win. So it's a class environment to be in. Do you know what I mean? Regardless of whether you do win, it's the best because you're coming in and all the boys can buzz off you, and you know what I mean. You all have a laugh, or like you say, if you need picking up after a loss, everyone's there to put an arm around you and you know what I mean, spur you back on. So it really is like a family feel.
The majority of people watching this will be well aware of Paddy and Molly. Cage Warriors fans will also be aware of people like Matthew Bonner, Liam Grittins, Adam Cullen. You're all from a similar area. You've all got that kind of similar Scouse humour. What is the crack like on a day-to-day basis in the gym?
Yeah, it's boss. Definitely, it's a rowdy environment, especially when Paddy's in camp and Molly's in camp. They like to take charge and you know what I mean. The tunes are always on. It's always a good vibe. Like you come into the gym, you see it's like a party. Especially these last few weeks with Paddy. There's been so many cameras in the gym.
Yeah.
There's been so much sort of attention around it, but yeah, we're just cracking on the exact same as we always have. So it's been a good atmosphere.
And talking to parties, what's the nights out like with the gym? Do you go on many?
I don't, but we do a gym night out every year. I'm gonna miss it this year, obviously, because I'm fighting on New Year's Eve. So I won't get to go. Last year's Christmas party was a good laugh. Yeah.
In your eyes, what does the future look like for Nathan Fletcher?
Becoming a UFC world champion, 1,000,000%. That is my goal in life. I've definitely reaffirmed that in my head this year. I know how badly I want it now. But my future looks like winning the Cage Warriors title, getting signed to the UFC, following in the footsteps of my teammates, going on to be the best in the world. 100%. That is exactly what I'm going to do.
Brilliant. Well, again, thanks for sitting down with me, mate. I've really enjoyed the conversation, and good luck for New Year's Eve.
Thank you very much, mate. Thanks for having us on.